they have said, start from your reception. If there's a special needs child in your class, use that child's condition as a means to expose the other children to the needs of that child. So I'm sure in that class, when you say, oh, please, we have Larry here, who is going to be Larry's friend, because Larry has what we call autism. Then use the opportunity to say autism. Say, have you heard of the word? You say, no, I've never heard of the word. Then you talk about it at their level. You come down to their level and talk about it. Autism is not a disease, it is a different ability. And these are some things that Larry struggles with, but these are some things that he can do very well. Who is going to be the one to be Larry's body for this child? Say, me. You find the one that is very willing to pair them. That child's life will never be the same. Just like mine has never been the same. From a very young age, I have a senior sister who had polio when she was born. Later on, when she was about 2 or 3. And my parents didn't really give us the responsibility of caring for her, because the gap between herself and myself is quite wide. But they didn't really give us that opportunity. But I knew how she was. I wasn't really involved in taking care of her. But her life spoke to me. And because my father, knowing that this young lady is very brilliant, sent her to one of the best schools. She came out top. And now, if you need money in the family, if you want to borrow money, Sister Debo is the richest out of all of us. She studied accountancy. She worked in Total. She worked in oil company. Where me, I was still struggling with the banking industry. They were paying me peanuts. So I come from a family where the person with disability is valued. So it was easy for me to blend and for me to bring up my child. Immediately I knew my child was struggling with something. I just said, what is the solution? And I went straight for the jugular. And I was encouraged. And I didn't even know that I was doing the right thing. I just knew that, you this boy, you are not talking 5 years old. You play piano for the church. You should play piano. So Uzon said that they know me there. I will go there, collect the curriculum, put him on the piano. Let's practice. Today, when that boy cites piano, he will tell my senior. Because I said, oh, Prof, now that you are, can I don't buy piano for me? Please, put your piano. Because I almost drowned the boy in piano playing and practicing. And that brings me up to empowerment. We need to empower. Now, if Prof says he wants to play the piano on his own, he can do it. I made him go to grade. I think he got to grade 4. I was very particular about it to that. It's okay, you don't have to go to school. Baby, did not go to school. Wow. We were using his talent. You know, he didn't go until very late. Even the one that he went very late, I'm sure he did not stay. Because after somebody is performing in the US and waiting for his class in Nigeria, we know, you know. So it's the talent. So so if he wants to use it tomorrow, it's there. That is why we need to empower our children. Now what we find is the parents are sending in the facilitators. The facilitators are the ones doing the work. And then that's what I tell the parent that the boy is doing very well. And then what I have challenge with is that when the child is 10 years old, the facilitator is still there. It's an aberration. The facilitator shouldn't be there for more than 4 years. If the facilitator is there for over 4 years, you have not empowered that child. You have not found what that child can do with his talent. The importance of inclusion is also to reduce stigma. Imagine walking into your church on a Sunday morning and you find the person with cerebral palsy being the one that is greeting you at the door. You have removed stigma from that entire church. You have removed stigma from the life of that family. And I tell parents, if there are parents here, tell other parents, especially those that have children with special needs, when the stigma arises, such as you are in the bus and the conductor is calling for people to come in and your son is quite slow, you tell the conductor to please give me a few seconds. My son is slow and this is why. You've educated that conductor. The next time you see somebody, you will be able to understand, oh, this woman told me at that time. Maybe this is what I'm seeing. You have reduced the stigma. And it helps the children to be team players. If you have a child in your classroom, and all this, the importance of inclusion here that I'm putting up here is for typical people. Yeah. It's for the environment. It's for the way inclusion helps us build value into our system. Remember, we are empowering every voice. There is no child, like I was saying today on the prayer, that there is no child, including those that cannot move from their bed, that God did not put something inside. Yeah. Your responsibility as educators is to find it. I will get to how we are going to find it. Diversity in appreciation is also another important reason why we need to include the children in our community or in our environment. Improved outcomes. When we talk about improved outcomes, we talk about looking at how this child is learning. Find out. That is the reason why that child is included in your classroom. Find how that child is learning, or find where that child is struggling. Then find the best person in that class that has that ability and pair them. A beautiful educator helped my son when he was in Abyssinia.